third graders, the other day in science, we started off really just kind of very briefly jumping into our weather unit. We looked a little bit about how air affects weather. We noticed, my brain's blanking a little bit. I'm trying to think back what we did the other day. We talked about what precipitation was. We talked about the atmosphere a little bit and what the atmosphere is. What is our atmosphere? Right?
Our atmosphere is maybe like
I'm gonna have Joey help you a little bit. Joey?
it's like a blanket that covers the earth.
Yep, so when we talked about that atmosphere, we talked about it being like that blanket that covered the earth, right? And what is that blanket made of? Haley?
Clouds.
Not clouds necessarily, but they're going to be in part of the atmosphere. Cooper?
I know one, but gases.
Gases. So different gases are going to make up it. And yep.
Little small dots.
Yeah, dust particles as well are going to be a part of that. One of the things we learned too was where that weather is taking place. Where is weather taking place? Where is it occurring in? Griffin?
In the sky.
In the sky, but it's in a certain piece of that atmosphere. Where in the atmosphere is it occurring? Lexi?
The north and south.
Well, it's going to occur everywhere, right? Different weather is happening all over the world at different times. But we want to be thinking about in the atmosphere. Yes, Brock?
The sun.
Not, well, the sun is going to be a huge part of weather, but that's not what we're thinking of. Viola?
The clouds.
Not just the clouds. That's that weather taking place in that lowest layer of the atmosphere, okay? That lowest layer that we're looking at. Today, I wanted you guys to come in and start reading page 154 and page 155. So I'm going to give you 1 more minute to read it, and if you're done reading it, I want you to identify one piece of information that you found interesting on page 154 and 155. So Charlie mentioned a big takeaway is when it's really, really cold, that rain that's in the clouds might freeze, and when it gets heavy enough, it's going to fall. And it might fall as hail. It might fall as snow. Very good. What do we call snow and hail? What are they?
Sleet.
Well, if they're together, that's rain and snow together. What do we just call them in general? They're examples of what?
Weather.
Find it in your text. Snow and sleet and hail are all what? They're all examples of what? When you find it, put your finger on it in your text. They're all examples of what? Some people are looking for those keywords. Snow and sleet and hail. They are all examples of what?
It's like rain and snow.
Say it. They are all examples of?
Frozen precipitation.
They're all examples of precipitation. Say that with me. Precipitation. So according to our text, what is precipitation? You guys came up with some great examples, but what exactly is precipitation? Kaylin, loud and proud, what is it?
It's water that falls to the ground from clouds.
That's exactly right. Precipitation is water that falls to the ground from clouds. And you guys gave some examples. And Charlie explained it to you a little bit. If it's just the right temperature and the water particles build up and it gets heavy enough, it falls to the ground as
Hail.
rain. Falls to the ground as rain. If it gets really cold, that's when we're going to have those other things. Hail or snow or sleet, where we have that mixture of snow and rain. Otherwise, it's just going to be rain, that water that falls to the ground. The form that water comes in is what's going to make the different types of weather patterns we see. Snow, sleet, and hail. Fabulous. Another thing that's important to take away from today's reading is going over to the next page and looking at air pressure a little bit. Did you guys remember to read our air pressure section?
Yeah.
Perfect. Next to it, we see an anemometer, which measures wind speed, and we see a barometer, which measures air pressure. Those are 2 tools that are used by meteorologists to help with weather as well. Air pressure is the force of air pressing down on Earth's surface. Weather reporters often describe air pressure. When the air presses down a lot, air pressure is high. When it presses less, air pressure is low. Low air pressure can mean that weather will be cloudy or rainy. High air pressure often means that skies will be clear. Scientists use a tool called a barometer to measure the air pressure. I just wanted to have a quick conversation about that piece with you because I do think all of that is quite important when we go into our weather unit. Today we are going to read a little bit about weather reports as well. So we're going to shift our focus, and I want everyone to take out their Be a Scientist notebook. Go ahead and take your Be a Scientist notebook out, and we're going to be on page 96. Which page?
96.